Hi everyone, my name is Sanjay, and today we're going to be learning the basics of intervals. And we're going to be learning intervals because we're going to see it in Old Macdonald. So we're going to be learning intervals today. Intervals. Okay, so now let's get into the intervals theory. Right now we're just going to learn the basics, like just the distance and identifying the distance and intervals. So, first off, an interval is the distance between two notes. That means you're playing two notes at the same time. So, how we count intervals? We count from the bottom note up. So we count from this bottom notes up to the top note, and that's when we stop counting. So we want to count the lines and spaces in between the notes, but you have to start on the line or space that the bottom note is on, and you want to end on the line or space that the top note is on. So basically, let's see. Well, now that we have that down, let's go and let's see this first one. So this first one, you can see that it's basically just one note, okay? There's no spaces, and it's one note, and that's why we call it a unison. This is called a unison, and it's just the unison, and it's just one note. There's one space. So now for this one, this is the most common interval, and this is let's see. Let's count here. Now, according to that rule that I just say, we start from the bottom note and count up. We start on the bottom note's line or space and end on the top note's line or space. So this here is a C because you go from E, D, C. This is the C line, and the top note is a D because E, D. So we'll start on this line, 1, 2. So we're gonna we start at this line, 1, then go up to the space where the top note is, 2. And we count it from bottom to top. And we start on that bottom note's line or space, and we end on that top note's line or space. So this is called a second. A second. Okay, so if you ever count 2, which is the distance, is called a second. So now for this third one here, let's start from counting from the bottom note, then work our way to the top note. So again, this is a C, and the bottom note is a C, and the top note is E because it's on the E line. So let's see here. We count from the bottom to up. Okay, so this is 1, the C line is 1, go up space to D, which is 2, then end on the third line, which is E, and the note on the E line, which has the note 3. So this is called a third. This is called a third. Okay, now that we have that down, we'll go to the next one. Okay, now, the next one is called a fourth. It just goes fourth. This one is a fourth. The next one is a fifth. And then after the fifth, it's called a sixth. After the sixth, it's called a seventh. Now, we can go from the unison, and we can count like this up. We can count the lines and spaces all the way up till the seventh, till it's 7 lines and spaces away. After that, we call 8 lines and spaces away the 8th. We don't call it as an 8th, we call it as an octave. And the reason why we call it as an octave, because the bottom note will be the same as the top note, but the top note is the next pitch from the bottom note. So right here, we have middle C, middle C here, and then we'll count the spaces, F, A, C. This is also a C, but this is at the next pitch, that higher pitch right after middle C, the next pitch after. So this is the next C after middle C. This is why it's called an octave. It's the same note, but it's at the higher pitch. The top note is the one with the higher pitch. Bottom note is the one with the lower pitch. It's an octave. It's the same note, but it's also an interval. It's an octave. That is the eighth. It's basically the eighth. It's called an octave. And that is basically the intervals. So anyways, that will be it for this class on the intervals. So this will be playing into Old Macdonald, how we're gonna see some of these intervals in Old Macdonald, like the second, all these ones. We'll see them in Old Macdonald and how it will play into it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Bye.